I never talked to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th inches.
All right. Let's make sure this sound is right. All right, sound good to me. What is going on, Florida State family, Seminole Nation, and the 863 tribe? It is your boy, POLK, a.k.a. A-Low, a.k.a. the goddamn Trizuth. And it's one of the best weeks of the year. It's Miami Hate Week. We got them sorry ass candy canes on the schedule this Saturday. Excuse the possibility of the time mix up. I am on Eastern time right now, and I'm in New York. So we are coming live from the city. I'm like right around the block from Wall Street. 30 minutes from Madison Square Garden. So I'm out here in the city going live for y'all. I'm always traveling, as y'all know. So we are in New York. I'm on the Eastern time, but I will be back in the lab, in the studio for the game. So no worries there. We will be back on Texas time come Saturday. So shout out to everybody in the chat. As always, let's hit a roll call up. But before we do that, we got to pay the bills. Hit my like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share that video. Let them know that 863 Seminole TV is live. The dopest show, dopest Florida State show on the internet. Bar none, it's not close. Say what you want. We keeps it real. We keeps it live over here. And let's get to this roll call, everybody. Raul Torado, member of the 863 tribe. Jamal M. Tyler Hedden, member of the 863 tribe. Peter Shields, member of the 863 tribe. Tara, you know what, Tara? I never say your whole name, so I'm going to say it. Tara, follow the Queen Quest 17 McAnally. member of the 863 tribe, Black Shear, Seminole TV, Hannes, Mayan King, Jarcarius, Todd Pope, Island Boy, Timmy in the building. Ain't seen you in a minute, Tim. Where you been at, man? And how you been? Glad to see you. I ain't seen your last couple live streams, Tim. So I'm good. It's good to see you in here. Hypnotic. Did I say Hypnotic already? It don't matter if I did. Hypnotic's in the building. Loden, Daryl Robinson, Briley, Groit 19, James, remember the 863 tribe, Joe Johnson in the building. And as they continue to trickle in, we will continue. Now you're a New Yorican. Hey man, I'm up here. I'm in my roots. I'm up here with my roots up here. But yeah, man, I'm up here in New York. And as they continue to, like I said, if they continue to come in here, we'll continue to shout them out. Ronald Smith and Florida State Love. Remember the 863 tribe. I'm not going to do a bunch of trolling in today's show. Pretty girl Sherry in the building. Tara say I'm way off, but she'll forgive me. I'm sorry. That's a McAnaleaf to me, but I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do a lot of trolling in this video. If you want to see me troll and get on their head, I was on T2Y stuff last night. Matter of fact, I pretty much took the whole show over. Y'all can go back, watch T2Y's live stream from last night, and watch me take over the entire channel. And get them boys, had them boys, had them crying, had them all, man, you know. Sad thing is I hit them with nothing but facts. And that's all we're going to do here tonight is we just going to talk facts. We're just going to talk facts about these two football teams. Now, I will start off Richard Pyrite. Anyway, what's up, Richard, in the building? I will start this off by saying it's a rivalry game. We all know it's a rivalry game. Now, a lot of this stuff can boil down to it's a rivalry game. You know it's going to be tough. And I do get it, and to a degree, I understand it. But I'm going to just say, I don't want to here's the thing about it. Because that's what Miami fans are saying. Oh, it's a rivalry game, so we going to get up for this. And I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, it's a rivalry game for us too. So what, we just going to come in there and lay down? We don't care about the rivalry? Them boys, half of the team from South Florida don't care about this game. They're just going to go in there and go to sleep. So I don't totally subscribe to the whole rivalry narrative of Miami going to give us the hardest game we've had all season because it's a rivalry game. So they're going to come in here pumped up. Oh, yeah, they're going to come pumped up. But Florida State going to come pumped up too. Now, I don't know what that means as the final score. And I don't know how that means as this game plays out. I'm not even going to lie to you. But if you look at these two teams, I said this last week as we did a little brief Georgia Tech stuff, but we knew what that game was, right? So we started on Miami week a little early. So I said this last week. If you took these two teams, stripped the uniform, stripped the logo, just white, black, whatever, one team is drastically better than the other in every facet of the game. In every facet. You can't name one. I take that back. I can only name one area of the game that Miami is better than Florida State at. That is field goal kicking. As we saw last week, he can kick some field goals because that's all they did in 14 points is kick a bunch of field goals and a 2-point conversion. So we know he can kick field goal. That's the only edge. That's the only edge. And I'm sorry if y'all hear this chair squeaking. It's not the most comfortable chair out here. But that's the only thing. That's the only edge, bro. Seriously, the field goal kicking is the only edge I can give Miami. Let's be honest. They're not better than us at quarterback. I don't care if TVD plays or not. So right now, there's some. I think a lot of people including Miami fans, are expecting TVD to get the nod. So he might be back this game. We smacked that ass last year. So I'm not, look, and TVD ain't been great this year. So I'm not tripping on no TVD. Now, I'll tell you this right now. If Jake playing blowout, definitely, I will say this. If Jake Garcia is playing, then the blowout is way more likely with Jake Garcia playing than Tyler Van Dyke. I will say that. But a L's a L. I don't care if you lose by 2, as Virginia found out. I don't care if you lose by 2 or 22. That's the only thing that's going to happen. Jake Garcia, you probably get blowed out. You don't have a better quarterback, period. You don't have better running backs, period. You don't got a better O-line, period. You don't got better wide receivers, period. You might have better tight ends. Their tight ends has been extremely inconsistent. And I think a lot of people will agree that Florida State's tight ends have been kind of a surprise this year. They've been better than we thought they would be, at least from my opinion. That's because my expectations for the tight end room was so low, right? So tight end room might be a wash. They might have a slight edge there. They don't got better DM play. They don't got better D-line play, period. Don't got better linebacker play. Don't got better. Where does Miami have the edge? As I see Galaxy King in the building, Boxing Monster, member 863 Tribe, Kane Zay, Kusami Hayes. I'm just curious. Now, I'm not saying all this to say that we're going to run up the score and do all of that. I agree on the rivalry aspect of it. I just want Miami fans to understand that the rivalry plays both ways. One team don't get super hyped for the rivalry and another team don't. FSU ain't in a position to be overlooking this game, like some would want to say. Oh, Florida State overlooking Miami. How? At 5-3. 5-3 is better than we've been in recent years at this point of the season. So that is a huge plus for us. But in no way, shape, or form is Florida State in a position. Hold on a second. I'm getting stuck on this cord. In no way, shape, or form is Florida State in a position to overlook Miami. So the notion that we're finna go down there and just overlook them is a bit ridiculous. The notion that the rivalry game only plays one side is a bit ridiculous. And that is kind of what's been being said here as I look for Miami fans. As Miami fans look for a way to justify or give themselves a slight edge of hope in this game. There's no home field advantage, so we can stop that nonsense. Galaxy, I hope your defensive line shows up, if we're being honest. If they don't, then it's going to be an extremely long game. I don't know your defensive stats. I'm not going to pretend like I do. But it's going to be an extremely long game if they don't. Because if there's one thing I do know, Jordan Travis could be inconsistent, right? He could have a bad game. He might be due for one, right? Passing game hasn't been perfect this year. Not going to pretend. But one thing I know we can do is run the football. So it's the one thing I know. It's the one thing I know is we can run the football. Go check the numbers. With 3 running backs. 2 for sure. Because we should be getting our starter back this week, right? We should be getting our starter back. So I know we can run the ball. So if the line don't come to play, well, then that opens up the entire offense. So I don't. I honestly don't want to dismiss this game because I want this game to mean something. I want it to be great again, like it used to be. But I don't know if it's that game this year. I mean, last year's game was great. But man, now I'll say this. I don't care how we win. I don't care if we win. Again, I don't care if we win by 22 or 2. I really don't, as long as we get the win. And I don't think it really matters how you win. I know there's some people that might try to put a, what's the word? Might try to antiquate this win. Like if you don't win by this amount of points, what does that say about Florida State? say anything to me. I mean, no one's going to look at a Florida State Miami game and go, "Oh man, Florida State only won by a field goal, so therefore X, Y, and Z." Like that doesn't matter, right? You just get out of there with the win. I don't care which way you do it. In my personal opinion, but I have a hard time looking at Miami and saying they're going to score. I said this last night on T2I's stuff, like on some real. When's the last time like this crazy ass comment right here, New King? I gotta slap you because you just and I get it. You should have confidence in his hate week, and you should definitely troll and say all the crazy stuff you want. But I gotta hit you with this. Shut that up. I want to hear that shit. When's the last time Miami scored 30 points? Briley knows the stats. Okay, Briley knows the stats. So Briley, by all means, put the stats in the comment. Miami's averaging like 6 points in the second half, bro. Miami can't score the football. In 4 overtimes, Miami, starting at the 25-yard line, Miami couldn't get the ball in the end zone. When's the last time Miami scored 30 points? Middle Tennessee, after that game was already done, over. Middle Tennessee ran the backups on y'all. Like, serious question. When's the last time Miami scored 30 points? So now all of a sudden we winning by 30. I mean, okay, I get it, bro. You're allowed to have that opinion. You feel me? But I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. And that, against Virginia, like y'all isn't like, okay, against Texas A&M, you have a bit of a case there, even though we all know Texas A&M ain't the great of a team either. But against Virginia's probably second worst team in the conference. Behind who? Georgia Tech. And you see what we did against the Georgia Tech team. So again, I don't want to come in here and I don't want to say, oh, we putting up 42-7. I said it before, and I'm glad Florida State has been able to prove me wrong in the Boston College game, because I didn't think we blow them out, and they did. I didn't think we'd blow out Georgia Tech. I said 27-10 or something like that in the Georgia Tech game, and we blew them out. So I'm glad that they have been able to blow out bad teams. I really am. I'm glad they've been able to blow out bad teams. I would not predict a blowout this game, but I don't think you can rule it out. I don't think you can rule it out. Obviously, if there's no other game this team has to play for, it's this game. A lot of that, I know the fan base is giving up on the season. The fan base thinks the season's over. I'm not sure the players or the coaches feel that way. At least I would hope not. Especially not the coaches. You're getting paid $8 million. Some of them boys getting paid, 6 figures at positions as position coaches. The coordinator might be getting paid 7 figures. I'm not too sure the numbers there. So I would hope that the coaching staff hasn't given up on this game. But we already starting to hear that players are talking about transfer portal talk. How does Knighton play in this game? I mean, how do you not play Knighton against Virginia? And then the transfer rumors come out and he kind of deads the rumor saying, no, he's not transferring. But I think even Miami fans would agree that the Jalen Knighton writing is on the wall. Do you really trust him in this game? If you're Mark, you didn't play him against Virginia. I find a hard time that you would play him against Florida State. Maybe you do try to pull out all the stops and you try to figure out, get Knight in some space and maybe he can make some plays, right? It's possible. I think it's a bad strategy to not get that man any carries in Virginia game, and then all of a sudden he's going to come to the Florida State game. But some of the writing's on the wall with some of their players. So some of those players have quit the season. There's some frustration there. With all that said, man, this kind of I don't want to necessarily get in this question, and I won't spend too much time on it, but this goes back to one of the original questions I posed before, bro. Like, Mike Norvell, bro, if you lose this game, what does that say? How do you, I don't want to call it fireable, but man, it raises whatever eyebrows haven't been raised to lose to this caliber of a team. the discussions definitely heat up, right? But let's get to some comments because I see the chat moving. New King says, keep the same energy when y'all lose. Well, first of all, you know me, I'm in here win, lose, or draw. So if I said it before, if we lose, y'all might want to tune into that show. It might be the most viewed show since Florida State lost to Georgia Tech in Mike's opener. I think that thing did about 8K, almost 9K views. Might be something like that because I will probably go off in that if we ended up losing this game. But I'm not going to run from it. I'll be here win, lose, or draw. 7 touchdowns against Power 5 opponents, 87 points total, averaging below 18 points a game. UM fans just try to show up to the game first and fill the seats. Then you can trash talk. None of these Miami fans going to be in the chat on Saturday until next season when they say they're going to be back again like every year. And this is what the conversation has moved to for Miami fans. They no longer talk about football. They talk about recruiting. So that's how you know the season's dead. Don't care what we did last week or the week before. Just beat these people, man. I think that's what you meant. Just beat these people. If Miami can't stop Trey or Trayshawn, it's going to be a long night. More people are in this chat than show up for the UM games. TVD about to go off. Okay. Our Davey says we are as healthy as we've been. Agreed. All year. And Mike said they have been preparing for this game all year. This one could get ugly. I hope so, man. Would love to see it. Leonard Taylor about to name. Show me a game that Leonard Taylor has dominated. There's been a lot of Leonard Taylor hype. Show me the game where he's dominated. And watch the opponent be a scrub team. But I would just like to know the game he dominated, though. We should be on the Cuse. We're going to pay attention to Miami a little bit. Cuse is getting interesting by the day, though, especially if your boy don't play for Cuse. He's hurt right now. I don't know who Cuse plays this week. But their quarterback, Schrader, I think is his name, or whatever. Yeah. Tell him, DC, get the likes up. Okay, so Virginia was the last game he dominated. Whoop-de freaking do. That's my point, though. That's my point. Virginia. That's the game. That's what I thought. That's why I said name the team he dominated, and y'all are gonna pick Virginia. That's fine. He dominated a bad Virginia team. Good for him. I'll be there live and in person at the crib. Me and Vontae going to the game along with my nephew, mom, etc. Pat Payton, we about to be lit. Hey, shout out to Tim. They at Pitt. So Syracuse at Pitt should be an interesting game. Answer a question for me. Why do we love LT in short yardage situations so much? I don't know. That's a question for the coaches, not me. I think what they try to do, especially with Trayshawn being out, though you can make the case they kind of did the same thing with Trayshawn being healthy, is they like to use LT as the change of pace back. And maybe they think teams will be looking more for him to pass out of the back, catch the receiver out of the backfield. So they kind of try to catch a defense off guard. Honestly, I don't know. Again, that's more of a question for our offensive minded head coach. But that's maybe the little bit of logic I can see behind it. I could be completely off there. Of course we could lose. So TD Lake City, let's be clear. We could definitely lose. FSU isn't in a position where you can pencil in any game, in my opinion. But I'm only taking the first 8 games into consideration. Florida State has not played down the competition. And that accounts for something, right? That accounts for something. Florida State has not played down the competition. They've handled bad teams this year. The teams that they have been supposed to beat, they've beaten. And they've beaten convincingly. So I think that is a cause of that is something to be an optimistic approach or whatever. Tell me a game any of your defensive players dominated. Well, Verse dominated LSU. Or you might want to go watch that game. What did Verse have? 3 sacks in that game. Let's see. Have you watched our linebackers? Deloach, Bethune have had plenty of games where they've been dominant. I mean, I can name a few. I don't know what Trayshawn's worth 40 time, and it hasn't seemed to matter in his college career. Now has it? When he's averaging 7 yards a game, a carry, so his 40 time is irrelevant. Miami fans keep touring a number 3 rush defense in the ACC. Problem is Miami hasn't played anybody. FSU has the number 1 rush defense, but FSU has already played NC State and Clemson, the 1 and 2 rush defense. Well, that's a whole nother way you can look at it, Briley. I've asked this question to Miami fans before. If you had Florida State schedule, if Miami had FSU schedule, if the schedules were reversed, and the only really good football team Miami's played is North Carolina. I mean, Duke's solid, but come on, man. Florida State don't lose to Duke. Check the history. If we had their schedule and they had our schedule, what would the records be? I would argue you could make a valid argument that FSU's record with Miami's schedule, at worst, we have 1 loss. At worst. You could almost make the argument that we'd be undefeated. That's how bad their schedule is. That's why everybody in the preseason thought Miami had a cakewalk to the ACC championship. That's why everybody thought that Miami had a cakewalk, because the schedule outside of A&M was terrible. And then you play Clemson, I think the second to last game of the season. But everything in between A&M and Clemson, cupcake. Somehow they're barely over 5. They're 500. They're lucky that they're not 3-5, because if Virginia was a halfway decent team, Virginia wins that game. Miami cashed in their PPP loan last year to get Cuban Jesus. Funny now, and only now they have money for football. What's up, T2Y's in the building? All I'm gonna say is FSU lost a close games to 3. That's a fact. The 3 games everybody wants to clown us for was against a top 5 team, a top 15 team at the time in NC State, and a top 25 team at the time in Wake Forest. 3 straight ranked games. None of the kids jump out to me. The number 0 kid is pretty decent. Okay. Well, Verse has been jumping out to some people because the NFL seems to love Verse. So Verse is jumping out to somebody. Maybe not to you, Galaxy. Fair enough. NFL scouts seem to love what Verse got going on. You already know the answer to that. Yeah, Ward doesn't have breakaway speed. I'm not saying he does. I'm just saying it hasn't mattered. Again, he averages like over 7 yards a carry. It hasn't mattered. Now, he'd be that much more dangerous if he had breakaway speed, but he doesn't. You think what our schedule, they would have 2 to 3 wins? Boston College and Georgia Tech, it's only the wins I could really see. They wouldn't beat no one else on the schedule, bro. Boston College and Georgia Tech, that's the only games I could see. Oh, and Duquesne. I'm sorry. I forgot about Duquesne. So you're right. Probably 2 to 3 wins. Right. Well, we'll see. Sure, they'll play tough. I don't necessarily disagree with that. They'll play tough. Tough don't mean the game be close, though. Irv Gaddy, what's up? This is one of the dumb comments that you'll get from a Miami fan. Y'all in year 3, which is fine. We're in year 3 or year 2, depending on how you look at it, depending on if you count the COVID year, right? But y'all are in your year 3 with this head coach, and y'all happy about 5-3 team. Y'all talking about lowering the bar. Y'all paid $8 million for a coach that took over a team with the Heisman candidate at quarterback, top 15 talent. Y'all was even ranked in the top 15, and now y'all struggling to make a bowl game. Talk about overpaying. So let's talk about that. Talk about paying for a BMW and getting a lemon. How about that? What's up, Dan Squatch? Hey, man, good. Glad you in here, man. Glad you in here. How was my day? My day was chill. Was in some classes all day, but my game, I cannot complain about my day. Here's another dumb comment. New King's good for the dumb comments, y'all. So keep them coming, bro, because you fuel the fire with your terrible takes. Y'all barely won most of y'all games. We've blown out 3 teams out of our 5 wins. So we've barely won most of our games, but 3 of our wins are blowouts. One of those wins that didn't end up in a blowout, we dominated for 4.5 quarters, and we played stupid football down the stretch and let them boys back in the game. But let you tell it, we barely beaten anybody. Got lucky against LSU. Again, a game you dominated. Louisville, same record as us. So you call Louisville trash, but they got a better record than y'all. They just beat Wake Forest. They're 5-3 as well. So there you have it. Keep the dumb takes coming. Verse is an NFL player. This guy's wild. He said he doesn't pop off the screen to him. So he said he doesn't pop off the screen, bro. I don't know. So again, scouts seem to like what they see in Verse. So I don't know, man. Boxing Monster. Manny Diaz had these same boys bowling, but Mr. Career 500 is asking for time. This was not a rebuild, regardless of what them boys tell you. This was not a rebuild. Verse. If you didn't see, since we're talking about NIL deals, Verse got a brand new Nissan Titan, which was one of the trucks I was kind of looking at when I was buying my trucks, but I went with my GMC Sierra. But nice truck. UN fans don't care. Y'all need to be hyping up y'all team in the Miami forums instead of being. No, they allowed over here. It's hate week. Let them come over here and make ridiculous takes. That's what they do. I wish we could actually talk ball with Miami. You can. Some of them you can talk ball with. Galaxy says I count. That's fair. If you count COVID, some people do, some people don't. The reason I say some people don't count COVID. I mean, look at Michigan in the COVID year. They were terrible. They were like, I think they were below 500. I think they were like 4-6 that year. They were bad. They went to the playoffs this next year and are on track to go to the playoffs this year if they can beat Ohio State. I mean, there were some outliers in the COVID year. You can't really deny that. I believe, personally, Mike Norvell used the COVID year. If you go back and watch the COVID year, we stripped the roster. All the leftovers, them boys transferred out. Remember, that year, Florida State had 25-plus players hit the portal in that year. We played all the young kids, and we built from there. So, again, you can count the COVID year. If you count it, I don't take anything away from you. Ultimately, you can say, well, games were played, so I count it. Fair point. But a lot of teams who ended up being pretty good were bad in the COVID year, and vice versa. Some teams, Miami being one of them, if I'm not mistaken, had good COVID years and then reverted back to what they were previously once COVID went away. So the COVID year really is an outlier if you really look at it. Briley says FSU has played the 25th hardest schedule. 10 before Georgia Tech. Miami played the 68th hardest schedule. 72 before UVA. Yep. You read that right. Going to quadruple overtime against UVA without a TD increases their strength of schedule. Big bus. He did. He was on Twitter signing papers and driving off. Yeah, blacked out Nissan. I thought the Nissan looked pretty cool personally. When I was shopping for my truck, I wanted a blacked out truck. I just they didn't have any, which pissed me off. With those 3 L's, we lost by a combined 17 points on back-to-back games. Louisville trash? The same team that beat ranked Wake Forest and Pitt. Make it make sense. Y'all played future realtors. Just going to leave out new playbook. Ain't that what the offseason for, though? Like, come on, bro. It's week 8, week 9. You can't be talking about the playbook still. See, that's what I'm saying. Keep the bad takes coming because the bad takes fuel the show and it really helps. So please keep the bad takes coming because we talking about new playbooks. We talking about new plays. Boys had a whole winter conditioning, summer conditioning, spring practice, fall camp, and we talking about the playbook. Wild times. We paid Mario to build it. No, you didn't. So stop the lie. But okay, you paid Mario to build your program. 1 year doesn't define him. He won't be struggling at 5-3 in year 3. We'll see. We will see. LT has good wiggle and short yardage. Benson doesn't do. Benson, I agree with you, Dan Squatch. And that's been one of my criticisms from Benson from the jump. He's improved a little, but I still think he needs another year. Doesn't run behind his pads extremely well. He's getting a little better, but he has an upright running motion, and his feet can definitely improve. Like you say, he doesn't do well when people are around his feet. He gets tripped up too much. Got to pick them legs, chop them legs up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you didn't know that's day money. Ruiz, that's day money. That's why they defend Ruiz so much because the Ruiz paying all them boys rent and car notes and all that. So that's day money down there. That's day money. You worried about the wrong things. I bet if we played LSU now, they beat y'all by 14. That's irrelevant because we beat them. So that all of that is irrelevant. If y'all play TAMU now, they beat y'all by 21. I hope I agree with you, TD. I want Verse to stay another year. I still think there's a pitch you can make to Verse to keep him to get him to stay another year, though potentially being a first round pick and the money that comes with it would maybe be hard for Verse to turn down. However, maybe this NIL deal that Verse recently got with the brand new truck is a way to say, hey, if they're calling you a top 25 pick, come back another year and you can be a top 10 pick. I think FSU's kind of doing. I think you see that with the deal that he struck today, and him getting a brand new truck. I think that is them putting. Because why would you wait till week 8 or 9 to give Verse an NIL deal for him to leave college in 4 weeks, right? Just my thought process. Could obviously be totally wrong, but I think they're trying to convince him, hey, 1 more year. Give us 1 more year. You can be a top 10 caliber pick with another year. I don't think that's out of the realm right there. Johnny is a guy that I'm hearing. I don't see it. I think Johnny has a lot of room to improve. I get it. He's got 600 yards receiving, but he only has like 3 or 4 touchdowns. I think Johnny can improve his stock drastically with another year personally. Had very little production the year previously. His size is going to be intriguing for NFL wide receivers, but I think he can improve his stock personally. That's what I've been talking about, Dan Squatch. But let me catch up in the comments. So I might skip some of y'all comments. I see you, Maurice Lovelace. I see you with the $25, man. Shout out to Maurice. He says, as a Polk County born Noel fan, salute to you, Polk. I feel at home here, bro. That's what this is. This is a home. And just for Miami Hate Week, I got something for y'all. Shout out to Maurice Lovelace with the $25. Right. Right. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But this is where I'll differentiate, because this is also the comparison that I'm seeing from a lot of Miami fans, right? Oh, look how y'all looked last year, but y'all came and beat us. Well, here's the difference. I want you to look at last year. Show me the team. You can only one game that Florida State really got embarrassed in, and that was that Wake Forest game where we turned the ball over six times in that game. So we actually had like a Duke performance against Wake Forest, like what y'all did against Duke. We kind of had that type of game against Wake Forest, right? So we turned the ball over 6 times in that game. So outside of that game, we played every team tough. Clemson was down to the wire. Should have won that game. Jermaine Johnson did everything he could to win that game for us as a one-man wrecking crew. Outside of Wake Forest, you can't show me the game where we were getting embarrassed by the likes of Middle Tennessee State and Duke and North Carolina. We actually beat North Carolina last year. So I would argue Florida State, even though we were not winning games, we were a competitive team. And I don't know if you can say, and we played another tough schedule last year with the Notre Dames and Clemson, like we always do. The resumes don't stack up, right? Y'all would have a case this year if y'all played some tough teams. If y'all play some tough quality teams, y'all would have a case. Like, this isn't to show Florida any love, because I don't want to hell with the Gators. But we'll get the Gator hate week around Thanksgiving time. But if we want to be completely honest and just talk ball, Florida started off the season with Utah, Kentucky. How many ranked teams? Tennessee, Georgia. I mean, how many ranked teams has Florida played? Florida's played a tough schedule to be 4-4. They're still trash, don't get me wrong, but look at the schedule. Look at who they've played. They've played maybe the two best teams in the country in Georgia and Tennessee. A Kentucky team that has had their number recently. Utah should have beat them, but they found a way to eke that game out against Utah, right? Another tough ranked team at the time. I mean, Florida has not had a cupcake schedule by any means. If y'all had a schedule like that, then I could sit here and go, yeah, man, Miami's played some tough teams, and, it just is what it is. Y'all have literally played a terrible schedule. Middle Tennessee has not won a game since they've beaten y'all. Think about that. Middle Tennessee has not won a game since beating Miami. And not only have they not won a game since beating Miami, they've given up like 40 points in each of the losses. So what are we talking about? It's not like you can't even say, well, Middle Tennessee, that's a good group of 5 school. No. Catch up. I'm lacking in the comment section, so I'm gonna scroll past some of y'all comments and catch up here. Marcus Lewis was good. I love how people like to bring up revisionist history. We beat them when we played them, so that's all that matters. Stop moving the goalposts. Miami fans just moved on to basketball season. Maybe you'll have a better luck there. Not against us there either. Same. He low-key sloppy at times. I'm not sure who y'all are talking about. Are y'all still talking about, because I skipped the comments, y'all talking about Johnny Wilson? Again, Johnny has a lot of room to improve. So I don't think he's a pro prospect quite yet. Obviously his size, but I think he can come back and up his stock. Brandon Brazier says, we ready. I think Deuce Span is poised for next year. Winston got to show me now. Winston Wright probably won't play. Winston Wright probably won't play till next year. I think when Verse officially inquires about his draft stock, in my opinion, I think he will get a 3rd round grade. NFL do have a way of boosting guys. Because remember, Jermaine was considered a top 10 pick. He fell all the way to in the 20s. The NFL does have a way of tricking these kids that they may get drafted higher than they really are. And like you said, they kind of humble them. I think Verse should come back. I think he has a lot more to prove. But one thing I know about Verse, and I've said this all along, he will impress at the combine. Verse is probably going to run in a 4.5 at 6'4", 250. He's going to have crazy athleticism, right? So those things will get teams intrigued. I think the lack of tape hurts him. I don't know if he would fall to the third. I think that's a bit of a stretch, Keith. Definitely the second, though. Like, personally, I think Verse is a second round pick, personally. I don't think he's a first rounder just yet. I think he's still too raw. There's a lot of things Verse can do better and get better at, like not over pursuing. Verse has, if you actually watch what teams have been doing to Verse as of late, a lot of chip blocks. They've been double teaming him, and he's been struggling with that as of late, right? So he has to get better at that. And like I said, not over pursuing, sealing the edge a little better. Those things, Verse has room to improve, but I know teams are going to see a lot of potential in Jared Verse. This is why I think Verse comes back. Verse knows that he's got more developing to do. Said himself that this short time playing ball had him relying on physicality until FSU. Tough pass, first round money, but might want to refine his game. Mayan King, I say be in talks with him, even if it's low-key behind the scenes, and have him number one in chamber. I'm not sure who y'all talking about. I didn't see Mayan King's comment. So, yeah. We got some hitters out of the portal. Verse, Bethune, Pittman, Wilson, Benson, all contributing. We not 2021 FSU. I agree with you there. Bet a dozen. Jerry and Jones gets a pick. Hey, shout out. Listen, y'all probably never thought y'all hear this. I'm going to say shout out to Jerry and Jones for the last few weeks. You haven't seen his name get called much. He doesn't get picked on that much. He's been solid, especially with Omarion Cooper struggling. Like, no one saw 13 struggling the way he has. I know it's a mix of injuries and maybe some other things going on with Duke Cooper right now. But, man, and I see you, TD, say bench Jerry and Jones, but if you bench him, who you throwing out there? To be fair to Jerry, he's played decently, but you also make another good point. I haven't been impressed with. I think Ronaldo Green has been solid. But our secondary has been lackluster, and I think that might have been a position that we all had high hopes for going into this season, and the secondary hasn't quite played up to par. Jacksonville State fired their coach after beating y'all. I don't know what that has to do with much, but I think Rich Rodriguez coach there now, or was it? I don't know. Not sure what that means though. See, that's where they're on. Shout out to getting Martin McClain, bro. I don't have an argument for that. But we talking football and you talking recruitment. Just go back into hiding, New King, like you did after Middle Tennessee and all of that. Just go back into hiding, bro. I get it. You've quit on the season, bro. You've quit on the season. And now you want to talk recruiting. I would caution you, as a person who's lived through it, and every FSU fan can attest, don't count them damn chickens before them eggs hatch. Okay? Till pen hit the paper, I would caution you. That's all I'm going to say. I could be completely wrong. And y'all can sign everybody you currently got committed and more to come. I would just caution you. You got a bunch more football games to play. You about to get this ass whooping this weekend. Clemson going to spank that ass. So that's at least 2 more losses on the bill. I would just caution you, bro. Don't count them chickens. I don't know if you're asking me that or someone else, but Cooper hasn't played well. It's not that I don't like him, but he's having a sophomore slump. And that has again, I know he's been dealing with injuries, but the times he has been on the field, he hasn't been that great either. He's having a sophomore slump. Maybe next year he picks it up in his junior year, but he's having a sophomore slump right now. Florida played LSU too, Mind King. So I absolutely forgot about LSU. That's my point. Florida actually has played a hell of a schedule if you really look at it. And y'all commenting fast in the chat, so I keep getting behind. So I'm gonna scroll past some comments again, so I could try to keep up. Briggs has been playing inside. If you haven't been paying attention, not to say you haven't, but Briggs has been. They actually have moved him. If you actually count his snaps, he's actually been playing more inside than outside as of late. Jerry and Jones legacy game. There's too many players we don't know about with the same type of potential, but better tape. Mario gonna squander the talent that Ruiz is paying for. Then those players making 15 to 20% of the head coaching salary and more than their position coach are going to turn into a whole new kind of diva culture cancer. Mario said this ain't his recruiting class that's playing now anyway. Well, Mario's done a lot of backtracking over the past couple of weeks. He's kind of thrown his team under the bus in some situations. Whatever. Kind of really none of my business. New King recently just showed back up like I think when they beat Virginia Tech is when New King showed back up. Y'all know he was MIA for a while. It's pretty bad. I think Shaheen will be one of the starting safeties next year. We riding with 20 over here. Win, lose, or draw. 7 is depth of floor. 20 is I don't disagree. For whatever reason. They've been reserved and playing AZ. I'm with y'all. I think if you're gonna play them, let them start. But I think maybe they feel a little bit more comfortable with Jerry, and so we'll see. But I don't disagree with y'all. That's clamoring for AZ because I'm with y'all. Is he really a diehard though? I mean, Zay, you a diehard to me. You in here, win, lose, or draw. You take your lumps. I mean, we still joke about straight speed, and to this day, the boy said Bethune-Cookman had straight speed. I guess Middle Tennessee had straight speed, and Duke had straight speed. And them boys been losing the straight speed all year. But at least you come in and you take them lumps. New King be disappearing, man. New King be disappearing. He ain't here now. Shout out to him now, but he be disappearing. I mean, that's fair. You can say you don't see it, but the same thing happened to us last year. I already spoke on this. We lost to Jacksonville State and nobody decommitted. What happened to us? Guys didn't start decommitting until it was time for early signing period. So you can say, man, we lost all these games and nobody's decommitted yet. Well, that's not how recruiting works if you haven't been paying attention. That's not how it works. And if you think these kids aren't talking to other schools, you'll be shocked. I would argue, do not be that naive, my friends, to think that they've all shut down their recruitment and nobody's talking to nobody. Especially when Tennessee was interested in a couple of y'all guys, and look what Tennessee's doing right now. Like I would just caution. Is all. Just caution you. Just caution you. That's all. Ultimately, I don't know. But we had that same logic last year about a lot of guys. Man, they ain't decommitted yet. I think they sticking. And to actually our team's credit, a lot of our guys did stick. But we lost some guys at the end that we didn't want to lose. So I'm just saying. 28. Ronaldo Green's already starting. 38 probably should start. He blamed everybody, bro. He blamed everybody for himself. He blamed the players for not having no heart. He blamed the media for setting bad expectations or unfair expectations. But Miami fans going to stick by that $8 million coach. They're going to stick by that. Remember, they blaming the players. Miami fans have shifted. They went from this team super talented and we got all these dogs to the players suck. These aren't Mario's players. So they gonna ride with their guy. I never understood. But this is a new age of college football. And football fans care more about, for whatever reason, and we saw it, Florida State fans, so let's not act like we're above it, because a lot of us, a lot of y'all, myself included, we sipped the Willie Taggart Kool-Aid, and we capped for him, and we was riding with him. I had to get off that bandwagon. I'm a Florida State fan, not a Willie Taggart fan, right? So, but my point is, we did it too. We did it too, and some of the Florida State fans are still doing it, and I don't know why, but they still doing it. So they're going to ride for their guy. Instead of just being a diehard Hurricane fan and repping the U and calling a spade, they're going to ride for their guy. They're going to ride for their guy. McCall's in year one. McCall's a true freshman. He's more of a safety than a corner, so I think McCall will be absolutely fine when they move him to safety. I wouldn't be surprised if McClain flipped to Florida at the end. Miami keep losing. He's definitely not a receiver. Again, he's a safety. I said it from the jump. He's a safety. I think they played him at corner, or at least list him as a corner for depth purposes. And I talked about it before. Our safety room is deep, so it didn't really make sense to put him in the safety room. I think ultimately he's a corner. He's a safety. Somebody talked about that before. I mean, I wish the best for Knighton, but there's no room for him in Florida State's running back room, guys. Tell me, who's he better than? Is he better? Is Jalen Knighton better than Trey Benson, Trayshawn Ward, or Toyle Feely? Hell, is he better than Rodney Hill? I don't know. What about C.J. Campbell, who just burst on the scene last week? That's not counting Keziah Holmes and the freshmen we have coming in. In my opinion, there's no room for Jalen Knighton. Wish him the best if he indeed does transfer. He's kind of backtracked on that, but I still think the writing's on the wall there. I don't. To me, there's no room for Jalen Knighton. Too small. Was Honey Badger too small? Stop it. Was Eric Berry too small? And I'm not even saying he's that kind of player, but he was a 5-star coming out for a reason. He's not too small, and he's 6'2". How's he too small? I don't get that, but we all have opinions. But it's true, Polk. It's not his players. He got to build. Ain't that the cards he was dealt? He got to fix. But y'all can't say he's not. Okay. You're right. It's not his players. Even though he recruited 90% of the roster at Oregon. So he wanted those same players at Oregon, but I get it. He didn't get to coach them at Oregon. So you can say, well, it's not his players. I mean, it was still considered a top 15 team coming into the season. So I don't know. I don't know, man. What up, Chris? But yeah, so y'all keep the comments coming because y'all are driving the conversation tonight as it is Miami Hate Week. And I love talking football with Miami fans. So continue to New King, don't stop. Keep putting the terrible takes in the comment section. You've been doing great so far. Vontae B says some of these opinions, man. Hey, we all got them, and it's okay. That's why I'm here. Feel free to put your opinions in the comments. I'm not afraid to. I mean, I either like your opinion or I don't, and I'm pretty sure I give plenty of opinions that y'all don't like. So just because you have an opinion don't mean it's a bad one. Wasn't Joyner like five? Well, Joyner was a thickly built little bowling ball of a guy. And had long arms for a guy that was only like 5'9" or 5'10". But look, McCall's a freshman. Like, I get it. He's skinny now. Is McCall in year 3 gonna still weigh $180? I highly doubt it, right? You know, like I know we don't like McCall at kick return. Remember, they had made the move from McCall to Trey Benson. I think once Trayshawn Ward went down, well, they didn't want to put their starting running back at kickoff return and have him carry a load of the carries. So they went back to Sam McCall at kick return, right? You may see Trey Benson get back in there at kick return with Trayshawn Ward coming back. Just a guess. Y'all remember that was in? I don't know if Insane Mob is in here, but that was Insane Mob, man. Shout out to Insane. I've heard enough tales about how McCall comes downhill to believe they aren't all lies. Put the right 15 on them in the next 10 months. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but I understand it, Dan Squatch. We live in a new age, and people want instant success. We want to be able to microwave these players. Remember that they're all you got Sam McCall and even AZ to a certain point. Like these guys' bodies aren't even where they need to be. You feel me? Like I can say the same thing about Cromani McLean. Like when he comes out, I know he's the 5-star and he's highly rated, but he's thin as he's thin as a light pole himself. You feel me? Wherever he goes, McLean, whether it's Miami or wherever. I hope they ease him in and don't expect him to be the dude from day one because he's light in the ass. And that's okay. Travis Hunter would have had the same problems if he would have came to Florida. I mean, look, Travis Hunter ain't played at Jackson State. Because what? Suffering soft tissue injuries. Travis Hunter is all of 160 pounds coming out of high school. We really have to, stop wanting to. Some guys are good enough to play, but everybody's not Jalen Ramsey or Derwin James. Boy, those were special boys right there. Derwin James is 6'3", 220 coming out of high school, bro. That's right. We ain't got none of those guys right now. But give them time. Give them time. We'll be okay. What happened to Travis J? He's wearing a black jersey. I don't know the future for Travis J. I have my own theory on it. I think they're moving him to offense because so just my opinion on Travis J. I don't think he hits the portal. I know a lot of people think he's going to hit the transfer portal. The reason I don't think he hits the portal is because he would have done it already. He would have seen the writing on the wall, realized he don't have a future on this team, and I think he would have hit the portal already, right? He's agreed to go to the scout team, and I think on that scout team, he's learning a new position, whatever that position may be. They're kind of keeping it under wraps, whether he's going to be a receiver. Running back room's too loaded, so I don't see that happening. They could try to add him to the receiver room or something of that nature. Hell, maybe they try to add him. People have been calling it for years. Maybe they try to add him to the quarterback rotation. It's completely possible. I know I believe the LSU game, he was the scout team quarterback to kind of mirror what the LSU quarterback would try to do with his legs. That's my kind of theory on him, because if I'm Travis J, and you see it around college football, kids don't have a problem hitting the portal mid-season anymore. Why am I sticking around if I have no future on this football team? I think they told him, hey, we want to sit you out this year, scout team you, because we're going to teach you this new position. Complete conspiracy theory on my point. No inside information, just what I think I'm seeing. Travis Hunter hasn't played. Of course he's a starter. Dion said he was a starter. Dion said Travis Hunter was a starter regardless. So of course he was going to be a starter. I hate to say it, but Travis Hunter didn't even have to earn a starting position. Deion Sanders said so himself. He said the only two guaranteed starters on my team is my son and Travis Hunter. Everybody else got to earn a spot. That came out of Deion's mouth. I mean, Deion's allowed to run his program however he does, but saying he's a starter isn't saying much. 14-3 FSU at first quarter, 21-10 halftime, 31-13. Ooh, so you saying domination? Catching up in the comments again. Ward is playing most likely. I think he plays as well. Wanda Smith Norvell said, coming along great. Unless it's a setback over the next couple of days, he expects Ward to play. What's the light-skinned Miami's fan name that joins your live? That's T2Y, man. That's T2Y. That is T2Y. Miami remind me of Vegeta, always yelling supreme, but it's just gum flap. Hey, don't disrespect Vegeta like that. Vegeta, the most developed character in Dragon Ball Z. Haven't seen no highlights from Travis Hunter. He said, look on YouTube. I mean, it's pretty common knowledge that Travis Hunter hasn't played because he's been suffering an injury. But if anybody wants to look up Travis Hunter's stats for the season, feel free to. We ain't winning by 32. Not the DBZ reference, man. If you ain't on DBZ, what are you doing with your life? I would like to see us score every quarter. That would be nice, Jamal. That would be nice. I just want to see our defense come out. I want to see us play a clean game, right? I want to see us come out, play clean. I felt like last week we did not do that, and I said that much after the game. I was like, it was good to see us blow a team out, and yet we played, in my opinion, a real bad game. I didn't think we played a good game last week, and it's kind of crazy to say that in a 41-17 or whatever, or 16, whatever it was, beat them handily, right? But I didn't think we played a good game. I definitely didn't think we had way too many penalties, turned the ball over a couple times, right? We played a sloppy game and yet found a way to still blow a team out. Old Florida State, you play a game like that, and guess what happens? You're in a dogfight, and Georgia Tech's in a position to win the game when they shouldn't be, right? So it was good to see that. I want to see us play a clean game this week, and I think that score could potentially be plausible if you play a clean game, no turnovers, and force a couple turnovers yourself. Hunter has played, not a lot, but he's played. Again, fair enough. Check the stats. What's Hunter been doing down there? How many shots are you going to drink from me if we win? I'll take one. My score prediction, I'll get to the score prediction at the end. He's got a couple pass breaks up. It's okay. He on there, bro. Hunter a lick down since coming off the injury. Okay. I'm not going to pretend like I watch a bunch of Jackson State's games, to be quite honest with you. I just know he's been hurt. I like Knighton, but we got to stop babying these kids. In football, if you turn the ball over, you should sit. We had 0 turnovers last week. You think Knighton plays this week, Kainsey? I thought there was another light-skinned Miami fan that comes on. Oh, we're talking about Jurgen. We talking about Jurg. Jurg always busy. He ain't. I don't think Jurg been wanting to show his face this season. That's who you talking about. You're talking about Jurg. Play buttoned up. Be ready for an emotional game. Go show your better team. Please don't disrespect the Prince of all sayings. Tell him, bro. Don't disrespect the Prince of all sayings by comparing them to. Come on, bro. Don't disrespect that man saying pride by comparing him to Miami, bro. Come on. Miami's more like Krillin or Yamcha. Don't disrespect Vegeta, bro. Dang, cuz we ain't allowed to be confident. It's Miami hate week. We supposed to be tiptoeing this? See, this is I don't like the attitude, man. We ain't allowed to be confident. When did we get like this, Florida State fans? When did we become a team, or excuse me, when did we become a fan base where it's like, hey, man, don't talk too much trash and don't be too overconfident in a rivalry game? Shout out to y'all Miami fans, because at least y'all know y'all suck, but y'all coming in here representing. And y'all ain't mad to talk that nonsense. Even though we all know it's nonsense, at least y'all ain't scared to talk it. Apparently, we Florida State fans should be tiptoeing into this game. I don't know, man. Don't fumble the ball. As a player, you have to deal with the mistakes and learn from it. But don't quit because you messed up. Is he going to play this week? I don't want to call Hunter a bust. He's a freshman. Can't call Hunter a bust, bro. He's a freshman. My point was only with Hunter is he probably would have had the same issues if he had came to Power 5 football. But I would not go as far as to call Hunter a bust. I think that's a little bit of the animosity from Florida State fans calling Hunter a bust. He's not a bust, bro. He's only a freshman. Has he only played 2 full games? See, that's the stuff I don't know. What's his offensive stats look like? I would like to know that. Does he have, has he caught any touchdown? I would like to know what's his offensive stats. Yeah, Jerg. Yeah, man. Jerg ain't been wanting to show his face, bro. I know Boxing Monster going to have a lot to say about Jerg, but Jerg ain't been. Bro, Miami's Yamcha, bro. I probably even disrespected. Shout out to Krillin, because at least Krillin was able to kind of he couldn't keep up, but you know, Krillin was always in the mix, even though he was getting beat up. He more like Yamcha. Miami more like Yamcha. They was all talking about it. If Jordan Travis keeps playing this way, and if we win out, you think he's going pro? He can try. I don't think Jordan Travis is a pro prospect at quarterback. And I would almost argue that one more year would not hurt him. I think the surprise on team is Douglas, since he's been back, because Douglas is the guy I've always told you is. So, and that's a guy that we completely forget about. And Douglas killed Miami last year. So we'll see what happens there. They've been listening to Seymour. You feel free to listen to who you want to listen to. Some of these takes are very Seymour-esque. I will say that. He might. Personally, I'd put him on kickoff or a go route, a decoy. We play NCAA POLK. Use him to his advantages. Do you seriously think it's realistic we win by 32? No, probably not. But what's wrong with us saying it? It's the week of lies. Miami telling a bunch of lies. Why can't we tell a bunch of lies? After Jacksonville State, it slowed y'all down. What are you talking about? What slowed us down? Wait, we put score prediction. No, I ain't put no score predictions out yet. I haven't, but a lot of people are in the chat, but I ain't put no score predictions out. Look, Miami could be on 15 and they still be trying to talk. We're going to lead with outside zone and counter. If ineffective, we open up Travis' legs on the zone read. If they stack the box, we loosen up over the top. And if they play too high, we run all night. Sounds like a game plan. So I don't know what we're going to do at the tight end room, bro. 57-17. Man, Kitty Paws. This is my first time seeing you in here, Kitty Paws. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed. But I ain't never seen you before, but I like the score prediction. He says, we have turned the corner. Okay, I hope we have. Miami's more like Mr. Satan. Yeah, no, you can't. He's not a running back. Some Florida State fans do. I think it's all about where you grow up and who you grew up around. Me personally, I hate Florida more, but I grew up in Lakeland, so if you don't know, that's Gator country. Mike, what's going on? Hashtag Mike got us. 38-13. I think that's a pretty reasonable score prediction right there, D. They've been better this year. Hold on. Miami fans are having a lot of optimism that they're going to get TVD for this game. So we'll see. Terrence says, apparently Toafili not a running back. Hear some people tell it. It's interesting conversation. I don't know. I've said it myself. I don't know if he's an every down back is what I'll say. Toafili might be a Brian Westbrook-esque of a guy. A guy that he can run between the tackles, he can do some things, but just might be more effective in the passing game. A guy that, let's say he goes to NFL. Maybe he's a guy who never runs for 1,000, but has total offense of 1,000. Like maybe he runs for 400 and can catch for 600. That wouldn't surprise me. Philly's he's an X factor for sure. Irv hates Florida more than Miami. Yeah, I know where Lake City at. That's what for some people, again, it's just about where he grew up. Some people, for whatever reason, hate who they hate. How does that matter? Is there a cap? Not saying they'll score 50, but that comment doesn't make sense. On real, it could get ugly for us more than y'all. Honestly, y'all would have to implode. I mean, so if you want to look at it from that angle, Kane's, it's definitely more likely that we blow y'all out than y'all blow us out. Like if y'all win, y'all are gonna win in a close game, in my opinion, right? On a last second field goal, something to that nature. Or we're going to have to throw like, a million interceptions, just have 4 or 5 turnovers in this game that just, right? Y'all are going to win like that. A blowout would mean we would have to not only turn the ball over a million times, but just quit. Like there's no feasible way Miami is blowing Florida State out. Again, when's the last time Miami's even scored 30 points in a game to even have a blowout, right? It's more feasible that we would blow Miami out than they would blow us out. If Miami's to win, they're going to win in a close game. Miami is Hercule. 32-14. That's true too, though. We don't really force a lot of turnovers, so that's one of the problems I have with the defense. I think if the defense forced turnovers, it'd be borderline elite. Frederick, what's up with you? Flying down from Auburn to watch my Canes get this. Hey, I hear you. The Noles will go handle their business. Coach Norvell has forgotten about what happened the last time. Mike Norvell wasn't even in the stadium last time that game was in Miami. So as far as I'm concerned, Mike ain't never lost to Miami, in my humble opinion. That's just my humble opinion, though. We don't need Keyshawn Helton 2.0 at wide receiver with what we have right now. Who is Keyshawn Helton 2.0? I'm curious. More like Yamcha. That's why Kane's shit talk ain't just trolling. He loves his team, full of optimism, but not so delusional as they ignore reality. I told you, Zay come in here and actually talk football. New King's the one that says all this ridiculous stuff. And John Shields is another one. I didn't even read this comment yet. I just see his name. Let's see what John got to say. Got to say good night. Can't wait to hear you take after we beat y'all. Shout out to you, John. Have a good night. That was actually more of the more reserved comments that John usually puts in the chat. You hate him equally, so I feel you. Johnny has the most drops on the team. Could you argue that Johnny also has the most targets on the team? I don't know that for a fact because I haven't looked at the stats. But can you make an argument that Johnny Wilson has the most targets? So if Johnny has the most targets, it's kind of likely that he would also lead the team in drops. And I'm not really taking up for Johnny Wilson because, again, I think he has a lot of aspects to improve in his game, which is why I don't really think he's a pro prospect this year. But you can't suck or you can't catch for 600 yards and not catch. Kelvin Benjamin had the same issues, and no one says, Kelvin Benjamin couldn't catch. But go look at Kelvin Benjamin's career. He was a drop machine too. Matter of fact, the game that he dominated Florida, he dropped like 5 or 6 passes in that game. He could have had like 200-300 yards receiving in that game, right? So when you get more targets, sometimes you tend to have more drops. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. course he did. Well, you got to go back and watch Kelvin Benjamin then if you don't think Kelvin had a dropping problem, because he absolutely did. That's why he had the same problem when he reached the NFL. Go watch. That's why my heart says 21-20 Canes. Now you just talking, but okay. But my head says 31-17 FSU, but it's still line that shit up. I hear you, bro. I hear you. Anyone know how SAP is developing? We can use. So you bring up an interesting point, Arnie. And shout out to Knowles Game Day. I think this is where I read this at. And I think this kind of goes into what you're saying. You asked how is Quayshawn Sapp developing and that we can use him at center. If you remember, Antavius Woody was on the offensive line, and a lot of people thought he might be your center of the future. Knowles Game Day reported that they have started using Antavius Woody, where I always thought he belonged and always wanted him, and that's at defensive tackle. So maybe, and again, complete speculation on my part. As y'all know, I'm just a light-skinned dude on YouTube. I know nothing, no inside sources. Everything I say is probably BS. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. My opinion or my speculation would be maybe guys like a Quayshawn Sapp or Zane Herring or Thomas Schrader, maybe somebody like that has developed to the point that they can foresee him next year getting those center reps, and they feel comfortable with moving Woody to defensive tackle, where I think he's a natural at. I mean, you go watch that kid's high school tape. I think he's a natural at D tackle. I think that's where he shines. I understand why they like him or why they liked him on the O-line, because even at only like 6'2", 6'3", has insanely long reach. Woody's got a very big wingspan, so that's good as a blocker, right? And he's athletic. And Atkins likes his athletic guards. But I think maybe with the development of Woody potentially moving to the defensive side of the ball, maybe they feel very confident in a Quayshawn Sapp or a Jalen Early, people like that. Just my take, of course. Now, I can't go that far, Rio. I think you're kind of tripping. Especially when you say light years. Now, I don't think Johnny's better than Benjamin, really in any aspect of the game, if I'm being quite honest with you. And that's just not nostalgia talking of that 2013 team. I mean, I think if you look at KB, his size and his speed as well, Johnny don't have Benjamin's speed at all. I mean, Benjamin was a legit 4'5", 4'4" guy at 6'5", 240. Johnny's about 2 inches taller, but Johnny probably runs a 4'7", if we're being kind. I think you reaching very hard there. That doesn't mean Johnny's not good, and that doesn't mean he's not an effective player. But to say he's light years better than KB, But like I said, we all got our opinions, right? Miami would need to get in the 30s to win. I think Miami would need to get in the 30s to win. Unless we implode, unless we have an NC State type of second half, Miami is going to have to score 30 points to win the game. And again, I ask, when's the last time they've scored 30 points? I know Armella's going to be fine. I'm not worried about Armella. But Armella's not going to play on the inside, right? Armella's going to be right or left tackle. I think, again, I hope Woody, I hope the move to D tackle is permanent. Personally, I hope the move to D tackle is permanent. If you're saying that he's good enough or athletic enough to mimic Leonard Taylor, I say move him over there. Don't know. I haven't heard anything about Robert. Is it Robert Orr? Right? That's his name? I know his last name. I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his first name. Could be wrong. It might not be Rod Orr. 30 minimum, most likely 34 to 35, which is double their average. That's what I'm saying. We gave up a bunch of rushing yards to North Carolina too. So hey, y'all got three-headed monster. That worries me. That's where it's gonna start. I can't wait for that kid to get on. I can't wait for that kid to get eligible. Oh man, yes. But I did see him squat 800 pounds as a freshman. As a reclassified freshman. Right? He was supposed to be a freshman this year. Remember that. So you're talking about a 17-year-old. You're talking about a 17-year-old on a college campus scoring 800 plus pounds. I've said the same thing, Dan Squatch. He was a D tackle from day one to me too. I'm exactly there with you. But Atkins worked so hard to recruit him. There was a lot of talk that Atkins wasn't giving him up. And they worked hard. Shout out, I said it. Shout out to Woody. He worked hard to get eligible. Because remember, a lot of people thought he was not going to qualify. That he didn't have the grades and he wasn't going to get the grades. And he worked hard to qualify. But I said the same thing. He was a D tackle from day one to me. So I'm glad to see him over there. And I think they should keep him over there. Yeah, Rio can believe, Rio, he thinks Johnny's light years better than KB. KB had his drop problems too, but just from a talent standpoint, I'm not too sure he's even in KB's league. KB was a different animal to be that size and that fast. What up? See, there's Insane. Somebody was asking about you, Insane. They was like, man, what a dude that was yelling on your live stream the other week. They was asking about you, bro. I think Early is not a tackle. I think Early is a guard. Just my opinion, though. I think Kenyatta is also a guard. I don't think this game will be close enough for a special team player can make the difference. Punt returns could absolutely be a part of it, but FSU would need big mistakes in multiple areas. I think yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with y'all there. Tafasi, man, he's a player, bro. He's a player. He's a player. I think for Miami to win, they need 2 to 3 turnovers, some big chunk plays. So again, we all think for Miami to win, we're going to have to make plenty of mistakes. D-line could lose a ton. I think they're going to lose Cooper. Fabian, if you made me guess right now, I think Fabo leaves because I know he flirted hard with leaving last year. But I also think Fabian has a chance to come back because he's been hurt for a majority of this year. That gots to hurt his draft stock to some degree. Because Fabian Lovett, man, he was on pace to first round's a stretch, second round, late second round, third. Fabian was on that pace. I think he's kind of fell off due to the injury. Maybe Florida State can ink a right little NIL deal for him. Because I know one of the reasons he was so really looking towards the NFL, he had just had a baby at the time, right? But if you can get him a decent NIL deal, Fabian could come back just because he suffered an injury. And that same light, he suffered an injury this year. He might say, I'm not risking another injury. Even if I don't get drafted, I'll go to I'll be an unrestricted or undrafted free agent and try to make a team that way, try to support his family. So Fabian, if you made me pick, yeah, I think he goes pro, but I would not be shocked if he come back. I think Verse comes back. I think he has a lot of room to improve. Coop's run out of eligibility, so yeah, Cooper's gone. But those other two, man, Fabo's most likely gone. I think Verse comes back. If he wants it. But there's a lot of questions. Does Caden Lyles even want to play football anymore? He had a lot of injuries at Wisconsin. So there's that. The development of our D-line talent looks promising. Y'all already know I was on Pat Payton from the jump. Y'all gonna start listening to me with these players. Told y'all, Patrick Payton from the jump. And next year, you got Verse and Payton. Because there's no way. D-Mac has I think D-Mac has one more year of eligibility. Or D-Mac could even be a sophomore. I'm not 100% sure there because of the COVID year. But there's no way D-Mac is beating out Patrick Payton next year. I don't see it. I don't see it. So Verse and Payton on the outside, that's pretty nasty. I can get with that. I think Armella ends up at right tackle too. I think you got your boy Simmons coming in, who's a true left tackle, right? I think Armella, when it's all said and done, ends up at that right tackle spot. But I can get with that. Early that has a higher ceiling at guard than Armella at tackle. Oh, well, you know. I come over there and talk football, but you know how they do over there. Yeah, Peyton's a beast. Yeah, he got to get in that weight room. I'm with you, Dan Squatch. Pat Payton, he has the weight, but now it's time to get strong. You know, Pat Payton is a legit 240, 245 at 6'5". He's long, but it's time to get strong. It's time to be able to impose your will on a tackle, which he can't do consistently at this point. But you see all the tools, all the bend, the length, the athleticism. You see all the tools, right? But I'm with you. It's time to you got to get strong. Yeah, I don't disagree. Like I said, if you made me guess right now, Fabo's gone, Cooper's gone. There's no likely with Robert Cooper. He's gone. He runs out of eligibility. He's been here like 6-7 years. He's gone. And I think Verse needs a year. So I think we're on the same page, Hypnotic. Even though I think it might benefit Fabian coming back, I also see both sides of the coin there. Yeah, and that's what I said. Like, I get it. I think maybe he can improve his draft stock, but at the same time, go undrafted free agent. Like you said, get those practice squad checks. Like, I hear you. It's hard to argue that, right? Do you think Verse is at 100%? I don't. I still don't think he's at 100%. And his 80% or wherever he's playing at is still pretty effective, right? But you can see that he's slowed down after the injury. You can see that he's not the same player we saw, against LSU, and even at the beginning of the Louisville game. Like you can see that Verse has slowed down a bit. That's why I say Verse isn't. I don't think Verse comes. I don't think Verse goes to the NFL right away. He could definitely. He will get drafted, but I don't think it's the first round like people think. Love it, Tiafasi, Woody, Thomas, Farmer. They've been hyping up Daniel Lyons. So everything you hear, they love them some Daniel Lyons. Farmer has shown up this year as well. Bishop Thomas, who hasn't done much, but that's okay. Freshman. But yeah, we getting deep. If Garcia plays, I think we could legitimately blow him out. Byron Turner, remember, he had a season-ending injury last year, so he's still a redshirt freshman. Don't sleep on Byron Turner. A guy y'all shouldn't sleep on going forward next year. Is going to be interesting to see how they use Dante Anderson. Remember, that's a 4-star walk-on we were able to get in Dante Anderson. He's friends with Daniel Lyons. Very interesting to see what happens with Dante Anderson going forward. I don't know if you're telling any lies right there, man. D-Mac just leaves a lot to be desired for me. He plays hard, man. D-Mac plays hard. It's just, I don't feel like he has an impact on the game. Don't even do that, Marcus. Let's not even go there. I do think, as always, we are going to hit the portal in offensive line. We definitely are going to hit the portal there. That's what we do. Armella just moves so well in space, whether that's pulling or blocking at the second level. It doesn't guarantee he can island pass protect. He could be an NFL right tackle, but it's more likely he's an NFL guard. McClendon is okay. He is a redshirt sophomore. Okay. Yep. At least you honest, Zay. He says we playing 2K by halftime if Garcia plays. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. You still got to continue to add depth. There's one thing, and I know some people don't like the portal. I'm not sure why. Tennessee has a guy that's about to win the Heisman, who they got out of the portal. Bama has a starting running back and a starting linebacker and multiple wide receivers that they got out of the portal. You can go look at a majority of these teams, competing teams, and say they've added damn good players out of the transfer portal. 4 to 5 to 6 guys out of the transfer portal who start. Like I said, Bama has a multitude of players that are starters out of the portal. Tennessee has a multitude of players that are starters out of the portal. But for some reason, when we attack the portal, it's a problem, and I don't quite understand it. The portal, I've been on the portal thing for a while now. The portal's not the same as it was just 5 years ago. You can legit get freshmen out of the portal. You can legit get a guy with 4 to 3 years of eligibility. That is better than getting a true fresh. Like we gave, myself included, gave Ron Dugans hell last year because we couldn't get any wide receiver. The fact is, Johnny Wilson, Micah Pittman, if Winston Wright had played this year, we would have been saying this about him too, in my opinion. Those guys are better than any freshman wide receiver they would have signed last year. Like, you can't even debate that fact. Show me the freshman wide receiver in the country that's 600 yards receiving and 3 or 4 touchdowns. It might be 1 or 2 out there. I'm not saying they're not out there, but you see my point. You can get day one guys out of the portal with multitude of years of eligibility who aren't finished products yet. It's no different. Johnny Wilson's no different than that freshman. He's not going pro after this year. Stop that cap. He is not a pro prospect. If he does that, he's making a major error. A major error. Somebody is giving him terrible advice. You're going to have Johnny Wilson for at least another year. So, which is no different than redshirting a guy from a year and then getting 2 years of productivity out of him. It's no different. I've kind of, I've spent the block on this transfer portal talk for a while. I'm not so sure why people are so still against it. Now, I agree you still have to attack the high school ranks and get quality high school players. But I do think you can build a team out of the portal. Let it rip. I don't play Madden, so honestly, I ain't even bought the new 2K. These sports games, man, they're the same thing year after year. I just get sick of spending my money on it, to be honest with you. I'm tired of 2K just be the same rehash of the year previously. Same thing with Madden. So I don't even buy them. When I get back home, I'm on Modern. Hey, if y'all on Modern Warfare, get at me. I'm on Modern Warfare all weekend coming up. So y'all get at me on that. Do you think CJ Hurd makes it? Not this season. I don't think CJ only got. Oh, you're talking about CJ Hurd. I thought you meant CJ Campbell. My bad. You're talking about the safety next year. He won't. I mean, he's a 2024 kid, which means he doesn't play till after next year. It's possible. I wouldn't. I don't know. He's too far out for me to really project it, to be honest with you. I'm talking like Alex Atkins is going to get a big fish for the O-line. The impact of getting a Jermaine reverse, but for the O-line. It looks like D-Mac don't have that fresh leg first step he had in the spring game. He looked more explosive early in the year. Same with Briggs. But Duffy has never started a collegiate game. Don't know what we're talking about there. Hell, wide receivers got to start. Wide receivers are studded. Are you talking about the portal? Portal. Ron saved his job. He damn sure did. How's Hakeem feel about Dugans? Is it take it or leave it, or is he the reason you coming? I agree. People are underestimating the impact of the portal. High school recruiting, but the portal is major. You got mature guys who have college tape on. Not only that, I mean, but look at Johnny Wilson. One of the knocks on Johnny Wilson was one, he couldn't catch. Again, I ain't saying his hands are perfect. Unless you Larry Fitzgerald or like Chris Carter, I don't know if I've seen perfect hands on a wide receiver. Jerry Rice, maybe, guys like of that caliber. But the knock on him was no production and no hands. Well, in 1 year, he's completely flipped the script. Over 600 yards, and we got, 4 games left? I think Johnny finishes with about, I think he probably finishes with about 8 to 9. He would have to go off the last end of the season to hit the 1,000-yard mark. So I'm not sure he hits the 1,000-yard mark, but about 800 to 900 yards, I think he can get that for sure. He probably won't hit double-digit touchdowns, and for a guy 6'7", he probably should be, which is another reason why I think he should come back. But again, show me the freshman wide receiver that's doing any of that. Just because a guy didn't have success at previous institutions doesn't mean he can't play. Again, the Tennessee quarterback was at Virginia Tech. No one foresaw a Heisman contender in him. Now he's in Tennessee. He's probably going to win the Heisman this year. He's definitely the Heisman front runner at this point. I mean, sometimes, man, we base things so much off of what you saw at an institution last year, even though maybe they weren't using them right. Maybe the program was a mess. Those overthrows are actually on Deuce. He's cheating in his stem and leaking inside. Needs more angles of the post, but it looks like that there's not enough air underneath. If we can somehow convince Camden Brown to leave Auburn, O-line depth is coming. You're going to say Early and Armella sooner than others, but we're 18 months from having depth on the O-line. Hell, you can get a transfer a week before the season. I didn't know you could do that. Some transfers you can get during the season. I know the portal has been good, not just to us. It's been good to a lot of teams. Hell, I say this about Miami. You look at the guys that they've had drafted recently. They all portal kids. Jalen Phillips, Russo, all them boys came from other programs. So it's funny, like when Miami's try to mock the portal when all your best players in recent year, De'Aaron King has been out of the portal. Hell, their running back they got started for them was from Ole Miss. Their best receiver from a junior college. Just saying. There you go, straight speed. 2K nice. Madden got because it always does. If you still play, honestly, bro, if you still play Madden at this point, you just don't care about your money, and you can donate. Yet that's 60. Well, some of y'all might still be playing on that PS4. I don't know nothing about PS4. I got a PS5. But if you're playing on that PS5, you can give me the $69.99. And I mean, if you're gonna buy Madden, you might as well give that money to me. I make better use of it than that garbage y'all be buying with the Madden. Call of Duty, man, you crazy. But Battlefield used to be good. Have you played the recent Battlefields? Talk about bugs and broken. Still need more legitimate tackle bodies on campus, but everybody in college football is fighting over them. Yeah, absolutely. You need to start a gaming channel. I thought about it, but do y'all really want to watch me play the game? So when that college football drop, I'm bringing that to this channel. When that college football drop, I'm bringing that to the channel, so y'all can look forward to that one. I don't know. I did a while ago. I did start another channel, but I got caught up in other stuff, and it still exists. It's called 863 Digital Media, but I don't post nothing on it. It's been a long time. Transfer portal is going to be crazy this year. That's what I'm saying. When that game come out, I'll be bringing that to the channel. You best believe that. Is there a limit to how many times you can transfer, though? through the portal system. Used to be. Now, kids transfer left. Brandon Jennings. You guys remember Brandon Jennings and that recruitment? This man has literally transferred every year he's been in college. Brandon Jennings started off committing to, I want to say, well, he committed to us. Then he committed to Michigan. Then he signed to Maryland. Transferred to Kansas State, I believe. Then transferred. This one I'm not too clear on, but I almost feel like he transferred to Indiana. Could be wrong on that one, but then I know for a fact he ends up at UCF. I think Brandon Jennings has transferred like literally 2 or 3 times. Okay. I think that's a cue from Matt J that say he tired of being here. You already know. Matt J know. That's the key. That's the key. But I'm having a good conversation, so if y'all want to keep it rocking, we can keep it rocking. 2023 receiving room: Johnny Wilson, Winston Wright, Micah Pittman, Malik McClain, Hakeem. Oh, God. How about we replace Dustin Hill with Jacobs or Portier? Or how about Ja'Kai Douglas? How about guys that actually are going to play? How about that? Yeah, Anquan Polden, of course. I mean, look at, your Marshalls and teams like that. Battlefield is the best. Oh, God. Bro, y'all know everybody. NCAA is like spades. Everybody can play until it's time to play, and then we all got excuses. Everybody like, oh, I'll whoop you on some NCAA. I'll whoop you at the spades table, and then we get on the spades table and they get quiet. So I ain't gonna say too much. Just remember, when the game drop, I don't want to hear no excuses. Oh, gotta pay my light bill, the rent due. I don't care. Go dark. Go homeless. Your kids ain't got to eat for the month. I know me. I'm probably going to take a month off of work when NCAA come out. But see, I get paid leave, so that's probably not fair. But the point is, I don't want to hear no excuses. Get the game and get on them sticks and get these whoopings. Bingo. That's how we rock. You start a dynasty, you start with 2 stars or below. You ain't allowed to start, and you got to work your way up. We would even do, and I don't know if the new game even going to have this, but you couldn't start as a head coach. You had to start as a defensive or offensive coordinator. It probably will, Ardavius. Like, I'm hyped about the game, but if it's on the Madden engine and all that, they're going to find a way to mess it up. Yeah, it will be. I agree with that. It's going to suck. I'm going to bring it to YouTube. They play Florida, don't they? If you lose to Florida, I don't know how Jimbo. I'm not too sure Jimbo keeps his job regardless. I don't think Jimbo keeps that job regardless, if I'm being honest with you. But I don't know if he can't lose to Florida. I don't think he can lose to Florida, man. You lose to Florida, and they might fire him after the game. And they got the money to do it. How I become a tribe player, a tribe member. If you try to do a super chat, there should be an option to become a member. If you go to the or like if you want, like how you just posted a comment, if you try to do super chat, there should be an option to become a member. Yeah, I've seen the revamp mod. I'm sorry, and it's dope. They did a good job with that. Bro, I've won a lot and lost a lot in life. Won championships. I'm gonna talk win lose, but I played a lot of football too. I only play Madden because ain't no other football game. And see, they come out and that's a wrap for Madden. I hear you, and that's a lot of people's excuse, Zay. But it's that reason why Madden will never get better because y'all continue to buy that crap because there's no other football game. So they just give you the same game every year with no improvements because they know y'all ducks are going to buy it. I haven't bought Madden in years, and I'm not about to start. That's right, D. You retired, didn't you? Well, man, you getting that pension anyway, so you good. You getting that pension. Getting that retirement check. Probably getting some VA benefits, ain't you? Probably double dipping. I would love another fight night. They do have a new boxing game coming out. It's called Undisputed. Looks pretty realistic, too. No, I would take Brandon Cox in a minute, but he's already said he's going to the NFL. But no, I would take him in a minute. I don't like the Gators, but that don't mean I won't take a transfer from him. Once you get on the team, you ain't a Gator no more, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, no, nobody. You can come over all you want. But he's already said he's going pro. I heard him and his agent Sexton working on a buyout. Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. Would not shock me. My PS3 still works. I still play NCAA all the time. I was playing it on the channel at one point. And then I got the PS5 and some other things, and I just stopped playing it. I was playing it on the PS3 at one point. I was doing a season. But I'm going to bring it back. But I want to wait till the new game come out to bring it back. Yeah, I've heard it's on the Madden engine too. I heard it's on the Madden engine too. I swore off console years ago. I play strategy games on PC like an old man. I thought about getting a PC, but man, PC gaming is expensive. If you want like a good rig. And I'm like, bro, I'm not paying $3,000 for a PC. My PS5 do all I needed to do as far as I'm concerned. Madden, I can't play. Call of Duty, I was done with Call of Duty until the last Modern Warfare came out, which I thought was really good. And then Warzone came out. And Warzone came out at the right time because it was the pandemic and everything was locked up. So your boy just was home playing Warzone all the time when that came out. So that got me back into Call of Duty. And the new Warzone comes out this month, so I'm going to check that out. But at one point, I'm with you, Boxing Monster. I was done with Call of Duty at one point, too, because they were really starting to suck that franchise up, too. With, what was it? Advanced Warfare and all of them, and them games were trash. Get that money. I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even going. That is a whole nother live stream, Ardavius. If you want to see that, I'll do a whole nother, but I'm not even touching that garbage. We've got an old 360 with 13 on it, but it's the only console use I have. So, man, we done did 2 hours strong. Got some gaming talk in there. You see all the Miami fans got out of here because we squashed that. Kane Zay, the only one who stuck in to the end. So shout out to Zay because he always sticking there to the end. But all the other Miami fans, they got tired of getting beat up on. So big game this weekend, man. Of course, y'all know you got a chance to make a statement in this rivalry. You know, I'll say it again. Don't lose the game. I don't care if you win by 1 point, a field goal, 14-12. I don't care how you win the game. Just don't lose the game. And of course, it just makes me feel so much better if you blow the boys out. But I will give my prediction, and I saw some good ones. I saw some good predictions, so I might steal one of those. I don't think a blowout. Well, it depends on what you quantify as a blowout. I think we win comfortably. I don't want to quite go blowout, right? Don't want to quite go blowout, but I am going to say Florida State wins 34-20. 14-point win. Miami gets 20. We get 34. I got Florida State winning 34-20. I feel pretty good about that. I feel pretty good. Chances Miami goes 4-8. Who's left? I know they got us, Clemson, Pitt, and Georgia Tech. That's it. They might go 5-7. They might go 5-7. I don't think they lose. If they lose, well, this game could break them. If we beat them and we beat them comfortably and soundly, this game could break them boys and they could quit the rest of the season because they not beating Clemson. I don't think they beating Pitt. They gotta hope they beat Georgia Tech. So 4-8 is likely. Nah, bro, I bought $1,000 PC in like 12, put 600 in it every couple of years when it gets power surge or whatever, but keep all your games for forever, no backward compatibility. Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I know a lot of people that PC game and they love it. It's just getting started. I feel like, can be a hassle. Appreciate you for showing up, Maurice. Go Noles. quits easy. This is a reflection of their head coach. Oh, I forgot my score, 38-16. Like it. 31-17. Love it. Have you ever thought about doing a full game reaction? Yes, I did it once against Jacksonville State, and I'll never do it again. So don't even. I did it once. I ain't doing it again. I'll just keep doing my I'll just keep doing my half times, bro. Like that Jacksonville State game put a bad taste in my mouth. I will never go live during a game again. We watched the whole Jacksonville State game together. I ain't doing it again. Nope. Sorry, Joe. Sorry. If you play our A or B game, it's more likely to blow them out than lose. We'd have to play honestly, I think you got to put we would have to play our D game for that game to even, we would have to really play down to the competition. 45-13, 41-14. Boy, y'all got some big scores in here. Y'all got some big scores. Fitz making 2 field goals. Either that or Fitz is missing an extra point. Either way, I'm taking 34-20. Fitz in his bag now. 31-20. Okay, I feel that. I ain't mad at 11-point win at all. They usually do quit after FSU. Go Noles. Good night, everyone. Good night, pretty girl Sherry. 28-20. Fair enough. I ain't mad at that score either. Like I said, I don't care if you win by 2 points. Yeah, you laughing because last time I went live during the game, 34-20. Stealing my score, but hey, I like 34-20. That's what I said, right? 34-20. Yeah, 14-point game. That Jackson State game, bruh. That's why I ain't doing it again. I'm not doing the Jacksonville. We not doing it. It's 8 hours long because after the game, we went on a tangent. But yeah, go back and check it out. It's on the channel, bro. Go back and check it out. We watched the Jacksonville State game live, and I will not do it again. That's where this clip is from, actually. Shut that up. I want to hear that shit. That clip right there is from the Jacksonville State live stream. This is their Super Bowl. If we crush them, they're done. I have to go watch. Yeah, I said read that. 28-17. Solid prediction right there as well. When me and my partner start NCAA league, you absolutely want. Yeah, I want in there. Matter of fact, I want in there. Terrence gonna want in there, and I know Jerd gonna want in there. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, so I'll be at the game. I can't wait to go. Hey, shout out to Reality Music ENT. And Jonathan McIntosh says 33-17. So with all of those predictions out the way, please hit your like button on the way out if you did not hit it on the way in. Thank y'all for coming in here, kicking it with me on this Wednesday night. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Again, hit the like button, subscribe if you are not subscribed, and share the videos, man. Continue to share the videos, and let's continue growing this community. Let's try to get me over 2,000 subscribers. Right now, I'm at almost at 1,700 subscribers. Let's get me to can we get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the season? I think it's possible, but I need y'all to share the video and get the word out there that come be a part of the funnest FSU channel on the internet. But as always, y'all, thank y'all for coming in here. Stay classy, Seminoles. Go Noles. And we got you.